As President Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua continue to fight over the popular central electorate, there are so many things that are happening in the background just to make you forget of the past atrocities that the state has ever committed towards its nationals or its citizens. Now, remember, when a certain narrative is driven for a very long time, this is the opportunity that the state takes to loot, resources are meant to benefit the citizenry. Now, as you know, I'll give a case study which is a reality, like in Congo. When there is war or when there is any conflict arising, their gold is being mined, stolen, and being taken to the imperialists. You understand? So that is the same thing over here. Remember, there are a couple of discoveries that were made, and dossiers were brought out. For instance, remember when various creators like I came and told you about the issue of minerals that are found in Kenya, minerals that could make Kenya rich, and instead of that happening, those kind of monies and wealth are just heading to other people's pockets, most prominent people. And for them to make sure that narrative is no longer getting into the ears of the electorate or the ears of the citizenry, they have to bring something that will again spur confusion. So right now, everybody is talking about the rivalry between Ruto and his deputy president Rigathi Gachagua over the preference of Kithure Kindiki to Rigathi Gachagua. Now, remember, as this happens, we also have the issue of Adani Group. They are taking over Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and we are here concentrating so much on the politics of Rigathi Gachagua and Ruto. Before we know it, it will be a done deal. You understand? And remember, the Senate has been grilling various CSs with regards to this Adani deal. The latest one being John Mbadi. And you could see how John Mbadi was actually struggling to respond to those questions, claiming that he's under oath. Yes, and even Senator Sifuna told him, we understand you're under oath not to disclose anything that you share in the cabinet. But again, there is work ethics. I mean, you cannot just come here and lie to us. And there was this particular moment when the Busia Senator, Okia Omtata, did actually ask John Mbadi, how comes that the documents presented are written in a language suggesting that Adani is a done deal? For instance, when the document keeps on saying, we shall, we will, we shall, we will, it means something has already happened. The deal is sealed. So you are now saying what you're going to do, So there are a lot of things happening in the background. So when we concentrate on the fight between William Samuel Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, then there are so many things they are making us to forget. Now, there is one thing I want to warn the central Kenya electorate and also the entire Kenyan citizens who are eligible to vote. The politicians sometimes always go for sympathy votes. And remember, if there is one thing that did really push and sway other voters who would have otherwise voted in favor of Uhuru Kenyatta to his preferred candidate, who was Raila Amolo Odinga, was sympathy, because the atrocities that were committed towards Ruto in the Uhuru regime were so immense that everyone could see. Remember, even the point whereby Ruto could go into the church, shed tears down on his knees. You understand? And they presented themselves as a very vulnerable group and people who really understand the problems the common mwananchi goes through. But now, people did vote them in. Little did they know this was one of the well and the best orchestrated deceptions that has ever occurred in the history of this nation. Because we expected that Ruto will be one person who really understands the demographics and the challenges within those demographics of these nations. Otherwise, even as he took power, he presented himself as a Pan-Africanist. Remember all those meetings he used to go to abroad, South Africa, to other places, saying how the IMF is actually mistreating the African nations and being given the backbench, while a few nations sit and decide for other nations. Was really against all that, and he was even advocating for one African nation, the United Nations of Africa. You understand? Just like the idea that Muammar Gaddafi had. Yes, Muammar Gaddafi for Libya. And this is the same idea and the ideology that he was thriving in, as he wanted to make sure that Africa is united, Africa under one leadership, and we could be a very powerful nation. So even the international, sites started portraying Ruto as a Pan-Africanist. Little do we know that that was a deception. So here we are dealing with someone who really knows so well to play with emotions of his electorate. Now, central people, this is for you. One, Rigathi Gachagua right now is crying that the MPs want to, oster him out of power of the deputy president seat, and he's actually apologized to Uhuru Kenyatta. Whether it's genuine or not, we don't know. Now, they're all claiming that Raila Amolo Odinga is a good person, even though we, with the third eye, we all know that there are no permanent enemies or friends in politics. You are only good when you suit that person's interest. The moment you are done suiting their interest, you are no longer good. So right now, according to them, Raila is good, but next time, when things go haywire, it will not be good. Now, Rigathi Gachagua is presenting himself as somebody who is being mistreated. In Swahili, we could say, anaonewa. Wajua, mtu ambaye anaonewa. Somebody who has some self-pity, and he wants people to feel sorrow for him, sympathy. You understand? Actually, it's sympathy. That's the right term to use. So when that time comes, you will rally behind your son, which is Rigathi Gachagua, as you say, because he's saying, usiguze mlima, don't touch the mountains. And they have resolved that never again shall they mistreat one of their own, and they are going to speak as one united front. Now, what if this is a political calculation such that, politics is a game of numbers? He will come back again in 2027 and tells Ruto, you see, I have the people of Mount Kenya. This is a very large electorate. Talk about the Kikuyus, the Embu, Tarakani, the Taraka, the Imenti. Talk about all the indigenous groups that are found within central Kenya. Now, if he is able to consolidate all of those votes, and now he's coming to the table with a bargaining power and tells, hey, Ruto, you see, I still have the people, and you've lost the hook of these people. Then Ruto will tell me, okay, fine, I give the deputy president seat again, but now give me the people. Then again, you'll be sold. The same way you were sold in 2022 during the vote is the same way you guys are going to be sold again. So unless you open your third eye and try to analyze these issues and get to know that actually the kind of politics being played in Kenya is a politics. It's not politics. You understand? These are just tricks. We have tricksters in the name of politicians, in the name of leaders. We only have people who want to amass wealth for themselves, so that so that many of you citizens can continue worshipping them. You understand? So let us be so careful. Let us. We should no longer be voting in blocks we are rallying behind our son. We are rallying behind so and so. No. Let us look the eligibility and the capabilities. How competent are these people to hold power? Are they just going there to fulfill their selfish gains? No. Those are not the kind of leaders that we should be listening to. The youth, the Gen Zs, the most powerful tool you could take right now is your vote, and make sure that it counts come 2027. You can even have one of your own, groom that person, and make sure that he ascends to power. And henceforth, we let the constitution be respected, because the bigger issue we have here in Kenya is the non-respect of the constitutional rule. Anyway, that's it for the unscripted talks. My name is Ahmed Khalif. You are watching Dab Radio. If you love content of this nature and you're watching from our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe, press the notification button. So anytime that we are live or we upload any content, you'll be the very first person to be notified. If you're watching from our Facebook page, kindly follow our Facebook page so that anytime we also upload our content, you'll be getting these regular updates. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Dab Radio ndio mpango mzima.